Hello, 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 hello. How are you doing? Welcome back. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for stopping by. Hmm. Prior to 7th October 2023, I really didn't pay attention to whatever went on with the Holocaust. But once that 7th October came by, I began to pay attention. I had to look up things. And for to say that I gave up on humanity is an understatement. But then, if we give up on humanity, who's gonna help the world if everyone does that? Everyone who's on the right side of truth, reality, and common sense. Anyways, I stumbled upon a post on X. It was the account of someone. I'm just gonna read that post. It's not a video, for which I am kind of thankful, because there was no way that account could have been presented as it was shared on a video, because nobody was recording things actually at that time for every individual who experienced the Holocaust. But I'm gonna share that. I'm gonna read it. So bear with me as I go through. I will share that screen with you as I read along. So please do bear with me. Okay. As you can see, the name of the person who wrote this is actually there. So, in Auschwitz, my mother taught me 3 rules. Not stories, not prayers, rules. The kind that kept you alive. 1 rule, never make eye contact with a guard. That's rule 1. Rule 2, never show that you are sick. Rule 3, never ever lose your bowl. I was 5 years old. I memorized them the way other children memorize nursery rhymes. The bowl was a small tin thing, dented, scratched. It held whatever thin soup they gave us once a day. If you lost your bowl, you had no bowl. If you had no bowl, you had no ration. If you had no ration, you understand. I guarded that bowl with everything I had. I slept with it. I held it against my chest during roll call. I knew where it was every second of every day. Then one morning, I fell into the latrine. There is no delicate way to say this. The latrines in Auschwitz were wooden boards with holes cut into them over a pit. The holes were large. I was very small. I was in a hurry. I slipped. I went in up to my neck. The smell, the cold, the rats. I do not need to describe it. Your mind already knows. My mother tried to pull me out. She could not. I was slippery, and she had no strength. None of us had strength. We had not eaten properly in months. She called out. Other women came. Together they pulled me free. Someone found a hose. They sprayed me down in cold air while I stood there shaking. I did not cry. Rule number 1 in Auschwitz. was the same rule everywhere. Do not drop, do not attract attention. But I got sick, very sick. The kind of sick that comes from rats and filth and cold water and a body that has nothing left to fight with. And I remember rule 2, never show that you are sick. I hid it from everyone, from the guards, from the other children, even from my mother, because I knew if she knew, she would do something. And doing something in Auschwitz got you killed. But someone saw. I did not know who. I do not know why they helped me instead of reporting me. I never knew. They took me to a room, a makeshift hospital. I lay in bed, a real bed, not a wooden bunk, for the first time since we arrived. I do not remember much of what happened next. The fever blurred everything. Days passed like smoke. When I came out, I still had my ball. I had held it even in the latrine, even in the fever, even in the dark when I did not know where I was or what day it was. My mother came. My mother looked at me when I came back. She looked at the bowl. She did not say anything. She just nodded, the way she nodded when something had gone the way it needed to go. People ask me what survival looks like. I tell them, sometimes it looks like a 5-year-old girl climbing out of a latrine in a death camp, covered in filth, shaking with cold, still holding her tin bowl. Because she knew that the bowl was the difference between eating and not eating, between living and not living. Because her mother had told her and she had listened. I am Tova Friedman. I fell into the latrine in Auschwitz at 5 years old. I came out still holding my bowl. Tova. Never forget. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag survival. Hashtag daughter of Auschwitz. Hashtag she's still here. Hashtag their names live on. I'm sorry. I am still shaken. Still moved to tears. This is the true life story of several millions of other people. The majority of among whom did not make it. Not everyone went through the latrine. I don't know if you understand, if you knew what the latrine is. Well, being that I was born in one of those nations where latrines were used at some point in certain parts of that nation, I do know what it is. It's the toilet. It's not this posh modern day toilets that we know we're used to in the modern world, in the Western world. A hole is dug in the ground. And that's where you go do your thing. A board is placed over it. A hole, like you said, sometimes it's concrete wall is built over it. The concrete floor is built over it, and then a hole is cut out of it, just so you can fit to when you sit or squat, you can do your thing. That's what the latrine is. The 5-year-old child fell into that. She said she was neck deep in that. And there are human beings in this world who would deny that that happened, who would downplay what happened to the Jews, who would use it to taunt the, the offsprings of the survivors, those who knew someone who knew someone who knew someone who was affected. I just wanted to share that because the Holocaust was real. Real human beings just like you and I were hunted like human beings for all the fabricated reasons that the world back then made up against them. And some of those things are still being used today against the Jews. And the world has sat by. Majority gladly joined them. People are pushing the annihilation of our people. How many Jews are there in the world? To be accused of all these things, to have gone through all that they did, only to emerge as such powerful, amazing, incredible superpower in the world. I don't want to make this a huge thing. I just wanted to point that out. The Holocaust was real. The deniers are evil. The people who carried out the Holocaust, the people who stood by and let it happen, and those denying today, and those still going after the Jews are evil, soulless monsters. Unless you repent and turn to God, your judgment will come. The Holocaust was real. And I stand with Israel every day, and I thank God that they've got the nation of Israel where Jews can be safe and never again